Can you guys see me? Can somebody type in the chat if you can see me? Yeah, you can see me and you can hear me okay? Okay, Izzy. No, I'm blind. All right, perfect. There's Annoy, whoever that is. I love these people who come on to throw on accusations of discrepancies. I don't know that flyer that you're talking about there. Annoy. I don't know what the flyer. I don't know what's on the flyer. I wrote something and it went through probably 20 different people to get to that flyer. So I'm not sure what ended up on it. I doubt any harm was intended. My father did not choose my major for me. We don't even have something called major. That's not a word I would use. So I don't know where you're getting that info from. What happened with me was that I applied the two main points of interest because of the constant my mother telling me, you have to go into medicine, you have to go into medicine. I liked dentistry. So I applied for dentistry, was my first application at King Saud University, and number 2 was medicine. And that's when my family got really angry. I got a good beating over that, and I was made to take back my application and change it so that it was first medicine and then it was dentistry. And it doesn't matter, medicine or dentistry. I lived in an underdeveloped part of the world. Either or, I would have found a specialty that would have gotten me out. And this stuff happened over years. It didn't happen in a day. So just so you saw a little print thing, how's the quarantining going for everyone? Whoops, I just made that really big. Captain Brandon, horror lover. What is everybody doing during their time? Though I am not in a francophonic part of the world, I am an American. I plan to learn French. That's awesome. You know, I keep saying, use this time, do stuff that our lives are so busy. And as soon as this quarantine thing is over, we're going to go back to being busy. You know, the grind, the daily grind. Take this time to learn, to have fun, do stuff, you know, spend time with people you love, kind of thing. What else are you guys saying? It doesn't matter. I was just telling you because, you know, people will use it against you. People use everything against me. Thank you. And I appreciate that you're concerned that people will use it against me, but people use where I come from against me. The videos that some morons, did, the continuous attacks, they were claiming things about me and just because of where I'm from. So people will use anything against you, anything, you know, even like your skin tone, your hair color, the stupidest thing. If you're thin, if you're fat, they'll use all this stuff against you. It's really sad, you know, we just can't get along. Yeah. All right, guys. So what I wanted to talk to you about, keep talking, keep chatting. If there's a question that you want answered, I don't have anyone moderating with me today. It seems like it's just me. So just highlight it if you can so I can see it. But I wanted to talk to you about what happened with me. So I got quite sick. You are awesome, and that's it. Annoy. Thank you so much. And honestly, I'm tired of the accusations. That's all. So I'm sorry if I upset you or if it seemed like I was trying to attack. I'm not. And you guys know about my health care background. So, as I explained, I went to medical school, ended up going into med school because my family got really angry that I chose dentistry over medicine. So I changed it and I did go into medical school. I think I graduated high school in 94. By then, pretty much, I think it was early in the year. 7 girls with me, sitting all the exams and the interviews. And when we graduated medical school, just as a side note, we were about 16 or 17 girls. So I went into anesthesia as a specialty. I graduated med school in 2001, did my internship, which is about a year, and then specialized in anesthesia. And I sat the medical qualifying exams. I passed them in the 3-year period where I was already specializing in anesthesia and I was working in the hospital. I was working in King Fahad National Guard Hospital. During that time period, I had to wait for my exam tests to come back, which they did come back and I passed. And then I had to actually find a couple of hospitals in Canada and apply, which I did. And then I had to come here, like physically come to Canada to the different provinces and the different hospitals, interview there. And funny enough, they all accepted me and they started fighting over me because I was the first female anesthesia resident from Saudi Arabia to come to Canada. So they started fighting over me, but because when I came to Nova Scotia, I noticed the people were so pleasant to me. It just, till now, it sticks in my mind. That's where I chose in the end to go to study, to finish my training at the QE2 in Halifax. So that's a little bit of my background. And the other thing you guys need to know is that when I traveled, when I left, finally escaped Saudi Arabia, and I call me leaving on a scholarship an escape because there are circumstances around there that were very difficult that I was being prevented from leaving. So I myself was ill. I had a fever, and it was the SARS epidemic. It was in 2003, March 2003. And I came to Canada and I was never quarantined anywhere. I went through Heathrow and then I went to St. John and then I came to Halifax. No one ever spoke to me. Not a word was said. Coughing. Anyway, I knew I didn't have SARS and I didn't. I was very ill, but it wasn't SARS. And then I started working at the hospital here and we had lecture upon lecture upon lecture about how, SARS, and they gave us all the equipment and the masks and how to intubate people with SARS. And so I've got all that behind me. So just wanted to give you a little background, which I'm sure you know, about me. Call Oliver. Why is Canada letting in people with the virus? I just found out today that it is not showing on the media that London Heathrow is still allowing 40 plus flights from hotspots with no checks. Look it up. Like I said, without even looking anything up, I doubt many of the European countries have truly closed their borders, and I doubt that we have here in Canada. Okay, back to my story. So I've been sick. I got sick for about 4 full days, maybe 4.5 days. I was like in bed, sore throat, fever, aches and pains, sinus pain, fatigue. I had a cough. And I had been in panic or anything. I measured my temperature a few times. There was a fever. I said, okay, well, let's call 811. This was the morning of March 26th. I called 811. I was on hold for 30 minutes with 811. They go in a loop. They play music, then they give you advice about how to wash your hands, then they give you an option to leave a voicemail. So I ended up in that loop for 30 minutes. So I got sick of it. I left a voice message with my number and I started to wait. Never got a call back that day, by the way. That's the 26th. The morning passed, the afternoon passed, the night came, and by 10 o'clock at night, I was in my bed breathing heavily. By 10 o'clock at night, I got a voicemail. I didn't get a call. This was weird. I got a voicemail, and it was 811 leaving a message telling me that they're closing my file. So that was fun. Do you guys want me to in a full screen? Would that be better? Let me see if I can. How do I do it in a full screen? Would it be better? Can you guys see me okay? Let's see if I can make it full screen. Hang on. You guys write in the question thing. In the live chat. I can't make it. I don't know how to make it full screen. So weird. Well, I guess I don't know how to, guys. Sorry about that. Is that full screen? That's not really full screen. Sorry, hang on. Okay, back to my story now. I'm all confused. What are you guys saying? Full screen is cool. I don't know how though. Like, that's something else. Can you see me okay? Are you okay? Or should I close the stream and come back full screen? In the OBS layout? Oh my god, here we go. I'm trying to make it full screen, guys. Hang on. Transform. What if I fit to screen? Is that better? How's that? Can you guys see me? Is it better now? I want to finish my story. You're fine, and I'm on a phone. Okay, that's good then. Then I shall continue with my little story. Where was I? So I got a voicemail by 10 p.m. that night. And they told me that they closed my file, and I never got to speak to anyone. So I'm like, I was angry, I was upset, I was very frustrated, and I went to sleep. Woke up, my sore throat was extremely painful, my ears were hurting, I had a headache, I had a fever, the cough had progressed, it became like more productive. So I took myself and I walked to the walk-in clinic. The walk-in clinic nurse had issues with me because apparently you're supposed to call them ahead of time and explain your symptoms, and then they'll figure out what they're going to do with you. So I went in and she was like, do you have a cough? Do you have a fever? I'm like, I've got a fever, but I don't have a cough. She really hesitated to let me in. I was the only one there. I explained that I don't know what this is, but it sounds and it feels like it's probably going to be like a sinus infection. But what do I know? I said to her. So they finally took me into the room. The doctor saw me because there was literally nobody there. He was just sitting there waiting. He examined me. He gave me antibiotics. He didn't tell me anything about COVID-19, nor did he give me a test. Nor was I instructed to call 811. Nothing. Just nothing. Just antibiotics. And this is the fun part. This is the interesting part. In my conversation with this walk-in doctor, the clinic that they are in was shutting down because of COVID-19. And he was being laid off. I'm gonna stop. And I want you to guys... This is now you. You are sitting at a doctor's clinic, a walk-in, And after you explain your symptoms and you start talking to the doctor about their children, they tell you, oh, by the way, we're shutting the clinic and I'm getting laid off. And we're in the middle of a pandemic. What do you guys tell me? Throw stuff at me. What do you guys think about that? Because I was flabbergasted. I was like, what? You're being laid off? You're a doctor. Like, people should be fighting over you. You should have tens of thousands of work opportunities right now. What the hell? Oh, is it buffering hard? What does buffering hard mean? Is that a dirty thing? You guys being dirty? Just antibiotics. They laid off a doctor. Yeah, EC, unthinkable. I laid off doctor. Well, I just considering the doctor shortage that's inside of Canada. I wouldn't think a doctor would get laid off. That's amazing to me. And an entire walk-in clinic is shutting down? Like, where are we living? In the upside down? Old bag, I am taking my vitamin D3 and I also drink a glass of warm water with 2 teaspoons of white vinegar in it. Sure, why not? Okay, so that was my point of shock for the day. What? EC buffering means that the storage allocated for your audio and video is probably getting overloaded. Okay. I will look into it, but if you guys can't hear me here or see me properly, just write me a little message, okay? So I can figure out what I'm gonna do. All right. I took my antibiotics, and next to the walk-in clinic is a pharmacy, Lawton's. Walked into Lawton's, and by the way, you should see the orange and pink and bright signs, all stop, COVID-19 alarm everywhere, on the doctor's office's door, all over Lawton's. When I actually went into Lawton's, you can't go near anyone. They've got lines on the floor. They're strange things. And I don't understand these lines. And I went to the pharmacy and I stood behind the counter, and you're supposed to stand 6 feet behind, like literally, I don't know how far behind, and you're supposed to lean over with your prescription. So I just left. I'm like, I'm not doing this. I'm very sick. I just left. There's another pharmacy that's really close to me, and they don't do any of this. So I just went to them and I threw my prescription there, and then I came back home until it was ready. In the meantime, I started calling 811 again. And this time I was on hold for about 15 minutes. And I got a hold of somebody and I spoke to them, and it wasn't a nurse. So they told me, okay, what are your symptoms? And they wrote them down, and they're like, okay, a nurse will call you back. So I hung up and I started waiting. We are in the 27th sort of afternoonish. While I was waiting, I actually went into the self-assessment tool in my province. And I started going and doing the self-assessment myself. And it was frightening. That self-assessment tool, it's useless. It really is useless. It's designed to only filter in the most acute of cases that present with a cough, as well as a documented fever of over 38 and a travel history. Or if you've come in contact with someone who has traveled, who is now showing symptoms that are severe. So a cough and a high-grade fever. So the system that they have, the self-assessment tool, is actually biased against anyone and everyone else. Unless you fit in that little box, that they have assigned and created, you will get missed. Atypical presentations will get missed. Community spread, which has just started in the province that I'm in, it started yesterday. No one knows where it came from. They had no contact with anyone. So all these sort of filtering or screening questions are useless. Once community spread starts, those are useless. So they might as well take them down. As well as the other cases that they're going to miss are the mild cases of the form of the illness, the moderate cases, as well as uncomplicated cases or presentations of this disease. And by the way, what happens when you don't keep in touch with everyone you've come in contact with over the past 14 days? They want to know if the person that you've come in touch with who has traveled, they want to know if they have a severe high-grade fever and a cough. I don't know where these people are. And should I call them and start asking and interrogating them about what their symptoms are? Who does that? Isn't this sort of medical privacy that we're talking about here? The person's medical information is confidential. How am I supposed to extract it from anyone? Especially during an epidemic when they know that everyone's going to see them, it's a stigma right now. So let me see. I'll take a quick break and see what you guys are saying. Old bag. I am healthy and stuck in New Zealand, and I'm not going anywhere near an airport to get back to England to get ill. I think we're all in the same boat for what it's worth. Seeing as it can take Marcus Tanbeck, seeing as it can take up to 5 days for the symptoms to really break out, or that you can be asymptomatic, not affected, while still being a carrier, makes it spread like crazy. I don't understand, as a physician, as someone who has a medical background, let's just say that, because I'm not a practicing physician right now. Someone with a medical background, everything happening around me makes no sense. Zero. And I don't know, like the doctor himself that I spoke to when I went into the clinic seemed lost. Which, anyway, I'm not going to say anything else about him, but I don't know what's happening in the medical system, the inside, functioning of it. But I find it all very odd. Open borders, who's that? Danette Morrison. Open borders, globalist communists such as great idea not. Yeah. Rachel Wilson, you still gorgeous even when the dreaded what? Lurk. Thank you. Marcus, we went full lockdown early here in Denmark. The drug addicts are now running low on drugs as it gets shipped here. So we are now seeing a rising number of addicts coming down at the same time. Okay. Well, double-edged sword, I guess. All right. Where was I? So, yes, I did the self-assessment tool while I was waiting. Never got a call. But once again, I received a voicemail this time. Again, voicemail just pops in my phone. No call. No missed call. Her name was Joy. It was a nurse. And she was asking me to call them back and that they were closing my file. Again. So this is number 2 now. They've closed my file. So what I started to panic at this point because I realized what was going on. My phone was blocking 811. Now, I'm not a technical person, as you can tell from every time I come on here to stream. So I started panicking. I wanted to cry because I wanted to unblock 811 and get them to call me and for me to take the number. So I did something. I can't remember what I did. I think there was a thing on my phone that was, spam protection and fraud protection. So I switched that off and I'm like, maybe that's it. And I called and I left a voicemail this time. So after calling 811, this time they were able to get through to me, but I actually did miss that call. I missed that call. So after all of this happened, one more time I called and I left another voicemail. I think in total I had 4 files opened and then closed before I finally spoke to a nurse who went through the screening with me and said to me, according to the questions and the screening that I just went through with you, you are a positive, that puts you in the positive box. So what's going to happen now is a COVID-19 clinic nurse is supposed to call me. So I said, all right, let's do this. In case my phone acts up again and starts blocking numbers, I gave them 2 different phone numbers to contact me on. That was the 27th evening that happened. My conclusion from everything is that the medical program, whoever this 811 thing, they don't communicate properly with each other. Because I left a lot of clues in my messages that there was a problem with communication. And every time I received a call, it was a brand new person, didn't know anything about anything. And when I spoke to a person, same thing. They can't find me in this. Anyway, it was just a mess, big mess. There's no communication going back and forth internally from my own experience. So what ended up happening is today is what? Today is March 31st. I have not received any phone calls on any phones from a COVID-19 clinic nurse. That's my story that I wanted to share with all of you. And we can talk and chat a little bit. But what do you guys think of it so far? Tell white male, always clean everything touched with hands to keep well. Yeah. Clean daily. That self-assessment tool, by the way, that's BS. And that's coming from a doctor. I hope you guys don't take it. Zane Crater, I'm on satellite internet and it's not loading the live stream properly. I'll have to watch this later. Thanks, one godless woman. Stay safe. I hope it might be YouTube as well. My last stream, there was a lag between the audio and the video. So I don't know what's going on with this stream. I do apologize if it's from my end. I will keep, the more I stream, guys, the better the quality will become. Just bear with me. Captain Brandon Horror Lover. Rachel Wilson. Rachel. Oh my God, they are incompetent. Yes. Yes. So where was Captain Brandon? What do I think? I'm concerned, but I feel that we'll make it through, though. What do you guys think? Should the government be forcing people to quarantine? Tell me what you guys think about that. Self-isolate and all that stuff. The person that I was in touch, like I said, I was in touch with many other people, but that one person that I was in contact with 14 days ago, she had just come here from the States. She was not self-quarantining. You guys are talking about cleaning. John, there is a tiny lag where you're not in sync with the audio, but the stream is fine. Oh, there is? Okay, sorry about that. I'll keep messing with it so it's better, but I think it might be YouTube this time. So tell me, guys, what annoy. They should force everyone to self-isolate. Force. How are they going to force us to self-isolate? Oh my gosh. You want the military out there? What do I think of hydroxychloroquine? Rachel Wilson, yes, hydroxychloroquine and Zithromax. I don't know about Zithromax. I haven't read anything yet. But hydroxychloroquine is a milder form. It falls under the same category as chloroquine, which is the drug Trump talked about, and everyone started calling him a liar and whatever they say about Trump lying. The problem with chloroquine is it's toxic. The plasma concentration, the toxicity of your plasma happens in short doses, in small doses. So hydroxychloroquine is less toxic and allows for a longer buildup of the drug in your plasma before it causes any symptoms of toxicity. So it's better than chloroquine. Marcus, I think self-isolation is alright. Maybe the major cities, some control is needed, but I do not feel that we are starting to approach martial law in terms of the public movement being controlled. It will come. I believe it will come. I don't know where this is heading. I don't like this at all. The situation we're in right now with the quarantine and the self-isolation. The Iranian government, I don't know if you guys have been paying attention, but the Iranian government actually has stated that the situation with the virus, that they've locked everyone down and they have curfews for their people, and that this situation might go on for a year or 2 years with the coronavirus. And I'm like, it's a load of BS. The situation with the coronavirus is not going to take 1 to 2 years. Ben F, I hate it when people sneeze and they don't cover their mouth. Well, that's kind of important. And you should probably tell them that they need to cover their mouth. Especially during a pandemic. Fairy magic. Yeah, I feel the Handmaid's Tale coming. I lived it. You feel it coming, I escaped it. Rachel Wilson, thanks for saying my name so many times. I'm flattered now. I think I have a fever unrelated to COVID now. You're funny. Tall white male. Oh, I like tall white males. Same goes for coughing. A guy just went to jail for 15 years because he knowingly infected a house party of 7. Oh my gosh. Is that real? That's crazy. Annoy. Iran just found a way to have control over the people more. Yeah. Well, I mean, if you want to call it a conspiracy theory, you can call it that. I don't call it anything. I just don't like the way I feel inside with regards to this lockdown. I don't like it at all. I'm waiting for it to be elevated, to be removed. I can see us progressing to a worse situation, though I can't really say that we will. I don't think anybody can state that with a fact. I would like this to end, and I would like to go back to my normal life, because I can't travel right now. Going out is an issue when you have a background like mine and you were beaten half to death every time you went out, and they tortured you, by keeping you locked in and not allowed to travel because the country doesn't permit women to travel on their own. I lived like a slave. So to experience this here, I'm not saying I'm being enslaved. I'm just saying the feelings are coming back and I don't like them. Michelle Parsons, masks for everybody would prevent the need for economic shutdown and self-isolation almost entirely. Literally 3 weeks, they were telling us everything was fine and carry on with the life as usual. Yeah. The problem for me with masks, and I know there's lots of people that advocate for wearing masks. Masks are ineffective. The good old-fashioned regular mask. I'm not talking about, I don't know what, specialized respirator. Not talking about that stuff. Though, if people start walking around in those, I don't want to be outside. The regular mask, like the surgical mask, does not stop the virus particles from entering. The only thing it does, so it doesn't stop the virus from coming into you. What it will do is it will prevent you from, when you sneeze or when you cough, prevents that, excessive stuff that's coming out. It keeps it inside. But the virus particles go through in and out, guys, that mask. So I don't want to see people covered up walking in the street. What I would like is if you sneeze or if you cough in your clothes, get a handkerchief, get something, Oops. Blazing bloke. But Islam is peace, right? One godless woman? Leftists say so. Leftists know nothing about nothing. Leftists, because they know nothing about nothing, the first thing they do when you try to have a civilized discussion with them is they raise their voice. And the second thing they do is they call you names. Or shame you. That's what they do, because they know nothing. Because there's nothing. It's empty. There's no argument to present. Captain Brendan Horror Lover. So it's a big waste for the most part? Are you talking about masks? Yeah. If you're talking about the regular surgical mask, it's a waste of time. You look like an idiot. Just cough in your hand. Cough. It's the same effect. Oh, I don't know. It seems like some messages are being held for review. I don't know why. Well, guys, what do you think? Should we call it a night? Do you have any more questions for me? Have you guys looked at my subscribe star? I'm posting content that's unique for my subscribers. No, seriously, if you'd like to join my subscribe star, please do. I appreciate all your support. Old bag, yes. I am Islamophobic and proud of it. So am I. So you're in good company. I saw this thing that the masks prevent you from touching your face, so it might be a help just for that standpoint. No, they don't. Can you imagine something right here? And you're gonna keep adjusting. Don't. Just don't. Just wash your hands. Get some Purell. Stay home. Cover your, just basic, normal hygiene, guys. All right, guys. I'm gonna go. Have a good night. I love you all, and I can't wait to see you again. Take care.